Welcome to Scalpels and Sutures, the official YouTube channel of the Department of General and Minimal Access Surgery, GMC Patiala, where surgery meets stories and learning goes beyond the textbooks. Here, we simplify the concepts, share clinical insights, and walk you through the fascinating journey of being a surgeon in the making. Let's dive in. Today, we are going to discuss how to take a history from a patient presenting with a lump or swelling. When evaluating a lump, a detailed and systematic history is the key. Before we begin with the history taking, let's first understand what a lump or swelling actually means. Lump is a localized mass of body tissue, often palpable. Swelling, abnormal enlargement or increase in size of a body part, which may or may not be localized. Tumor or neoplasm, uncontrolled growth of cells proliferating independently of body needs. In surgical practice, both terms are often used interchangeably. But lump emphasizes a discrete mass, whereas swelling may also include diffuse enlargements like edema or inflammation. Let us now look at a case scenario to understand how a patient with a lump or swelling typically presents to the OPD. A 45-year-old male presented to the surgical OPD with a complaint of a gradually increasing swelling in the lower abdomen for the past 6 months. The swelling was painless, insidious in onset, and progressive. There were no associated symptoms such as fever, vomiting, weight loss, constipation, or urinary disturbances. He had no history of previous abdominal surgery, trauma, tuberculosis, or similar complaints in the past. His appetite and bowel or bladder habits were normal, and there were no addictions or relevant family history. On general physical examination, the patient was moderately built and lay comfortably in supine position. On inspection, a visible symmetrical ovoid swelling was noted in the hypogastric region, with normal overlying skin. There were no dilated veins, visible pulsations, or peristalsis. On palpation, a non-tender, soft, firm, and well-defined mass approximately 10 cross 8 cm in size was felt in the hypogastric region. It was freely mobile in the horizontal plane, the mass did not move with respiration, and there was no cough impulse or compressibility. Percussion over the swelling was dull, while surrounding areas were resonant. Auscultation revealed normal bowel sounds and no bruit over the swelling. Now that we know what a lump or swelling is and how patients may present, in this session, our focus will be on the most important first step, eliciting a proper history. What to ask? Duration. Since when noticed? Mode of onset. Whether it is sudden or gradual. Pain. Is there or not, and its nature. Progress of the swelling. Whether it is increasing, static, or regressing in size. Exact site and shifting or not. Presence of fever. Suggest infection or inflammation. Any other lumps. Single or multiple. Impairment of function. Limitation of movement and activity. Secondary changes of the swelling such as ulcer, discharge, sinus or bleeding. Recurrence of swelling. Loss of weight and appetite. It indicates chances of malignancy. In past history of any trauma, tuberculosis, or any surgeries. Personal history including habits, occupation, and nutrition. Duration. When was the swelling first noticed? In congenital swellings, it may present since birth. Example, meningocele, cystic hygroma, or sacrococcygeal teratoma. In swelling of short duration associated with pain indicate acute inflammatory conditions. Swellings with long duration not associated with pain suggest neoplasty. Swellings with long duration with slight pain may directing into chronic inflammatory conditions. Mode of onset. How did the swelling start? Sudden onset after a trauma indicates hematoma. A swelling rapidly growing and is painful, then it is inflammatory. Gradually growing without pain is most likely neoplastic. Why we need a detailed history? Sometimes patient presenting with complaints of keloid might be having a previous history of burns or a pinprick in earlobe. Birthmark like benign nevus can change into malignant one. A detailed history of pain is crucial in clinical assessment and diagnosis. This outlines the Socrates mnemonic to guide a structured pain history, ensuring all key aspects are covered. Socrates: site, onset, character, radiation, associating symptoms, time, exacerbating or relieving factors, severity. Site: where is the pain located? Onset: when did the pain start and was it sudden or gradual? Character: what is the pain like? Sharp, dull, throbbing, burning. Radiation: does the pain move to other areas? Associating symptoms: are there other symptoms like nausea, sweating, numbness? Time: how long does the pain last? Is it constant or intermittent? Exacerbating or relieving factors: what makes the pain worse or better? How severe is the pain? Often it is affecting daily activities. In case of an inflammatory swelling, pain typically precedes or coincides with swelling. But in neoplastic tumors, pain generally follows the development of swelling. Correctly characterizing pain helps differentiate between causes such as inflammation or neoplastic processes and guides appropriate treatment pathways. Detailed pain history can relieve red flag symptoms requiring urgent attention such as sudden onset, radiation to important areas, or associated with systemic symptoms. Onset of pain. Onset of pain refers to the manner and time course with which pain begins, whether it starts acute or gradual. Example: perforation, torsion, or ischemia are acute in onset, whereas gradual onset suggests inflammatory or obstructive processes developing over time. Nature of the pain. Dull aching pain. Mild, persistent ache, not sharp or severe. Commonly seen in benign, slowly growing masses like lipoma, a soft fatty growth, and in enlarged lymph nodes. Throbbing pain. Pulsating sensation, often in rhythm with the heartbeat. Typically found in infections that lead to pus formation, such as boils and abscesses. Burning pain. Hot, stinging discomfort, sometimes like a burn. Seen in cancers involving the skin or cutaneous nerves, like carcinoma of the breast when nerves are affected and skin cancers. Stabbing pain. Sudden, sharp, localized pain as if stabbed with a knife, noted in acute medical situations like pancreatitis with pseudocyst. Shooting pain. Pain that travels along a nerve, often sudden and intense, characteristic of nerve tumors such as neuroma, schwannoma, and neurofibroma. Colicky pain. Intermittent, cramping pain that comes in waves, common in hollow organ obstruction as seen in intestinal obstruction, with a mass, where the pain waxes and wanes with peristalsis. Multiple lumps. Sometimes these present as multiple swellings on the skin or underlying tissues seen in various medical conditions where numerous swellings appear at once. Causes for multiple swellings: neurofibromatosis, multiple lipomatosis, multiple sebaceous cyst, lymphoma with multiple enlarged lymph nodes, metastatic cancer, sarcoidosis. Each of these conditions may lead to multiple visible or palpable lumps in specific parts of the body. Progression of swelling. The progression of swelling can be categorized based on the underlying cause. Benign tumors exhibit slow growth over time, whereas malignant tumors display fast growth. In cases of malignant transformation of benign growth, there is a sudden increase in size after the swelling has remained unchanged for a prolonged period. Inflammatory lesions show rapid changes in size, either increasing or decreasing, and are usually associated with pain. Association with fever. Swelling associated with fever is often of inflammatory origin and can indicate an underlying infection or malignancy. Examples include abscesses, axillary, gluteal, perianal abscess, pyogenic lymphadenitis, carbuncle, and Ludwig's angina, as well as infected cyst, and malignant causes like Hodgkin lymphoma or non-Hodgkin lymphoma. These conditions typically present with both localized swelling and fever, helping to distinguish them from non-inflammatory swellings. This explains the concept of secondary changes in the conduct of skin swellings or lesions, particularly those that may indicate chronicity or malignancy. It may show ulceration, crusting, and inflammation. The standard textbooks advises clinicians to look for features such as softening, ulceration, function, inflammation, and other visible skin changes. The presence of these signs suggests that the swelling may have become chronic or possibly malignant. Impairment of function. If swelling is present near a limb or spine, two main issues to ask about. 1. Loss of movement or power. 2. Limitation of joint function. In osteosarcoma, when the tumor is near the knee joint, it can cause total loss of knee motion. In cold abscess of the spine, this condition leads to restricted spinal movement. Recurrence of swelling. Swelling that recurs after removal can indicate either malignant or incompletely removed indicates benign causes. Malignant swelling often returns even after surgical removal, suggesting a more serious cancerous process. Congenital cystic swellings such as thyroglossal cyst prone to recurrence if not completely excised. Benign cystic swellings may recur if they are not entirely removed, such as in the case of a sebaceous cyst. Information about loss of body weight, personal history, and past history should also be evaluated when there is recurrent swelling. That brings us to the end of this video on the history taking of a lump or swelling. Remember, a detailed and systematic history is the key to understanding the nature of any lump, whether it's inflammatory, neoplastic, or benign. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to stay tuned for the second part of this series where we will dive into the examination of lumps, covering important clinical signs. Until then, take care and keep learning.